Try again. Summer, spring, rain or shine. We show up for Palestine. Summer, spring, rain or shine. We show up for Palestine. Summer, spring, rain or shine. We show up for Palestine. Israel out of West Bank. Israel out of Gaza. Israel out of Lebanon. Israel out of Syria. Israel out of West Bank. Israel out of free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. All right, I want to thank every single person who showed up today. Give yourselves a round of applause. These are truly shocking times, dangerous times, deadly times for the people of the Middle East, and to be honest, for the whole world. We are 51 weeks into an invasion, into a massacre, into a genocide. 51 weeks into hell, and yet still the war continues, and in fact it is expanding. So congratulations to everyone who showed up today, and we're going to keep showing up until Palestine and Lebanon and the entire region is free. Thank you to our excellent drummers as well. My name is Omar. I want to start by acknowledging that this demonstration is taking place on Indigenous land. We always acknowledge that, not out of some tokenistic gesture, but because as anti-racist, anti-imperialist fighters, we have to acknowledge that this country was created through racism and imperialism. And that discrimination that Indigenous people face continues to this day. Our sisters and brothers are locked up, in prison, murdered in custody. Their communities are shut down, starved of funding and resources. And so the struggle against racism and genocide and war in the Middle East is a struggle against all those things right here in Australia. And we thank the Indigenous people for standing with us, and we will stand with them in their struggles for justice and liberation. Always was, always will be. 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 All right, we've seen in the last 51 weeks that every possible border, every possible boundary, every possible limit of what we thought was possible in the 21st century has been broken. We've seen before our eyes a genocide televised not by the hypocritical mainstream media, but by social media and by heroic activists and journalists in Gaza and the West Bank. We've seen this. We've seen the global movement, a global revolution for Palestine in countries all across the world, which we are a part of. We've seen Jewish communities in Australia and in America and other places rising up and joining our movement to make it very clear that what Israel is doing is not in their name, that this is not a racist movement, it's an inclusive, unifying movement. And yet still, our governments and Western governments are backing Israel as they unleash terror on the people of the Middle East. And the last week has seen a new front. I should say I'm Lebanese myself, and when I woke up, I think it was Monday, to the news of 500 people killed overnight. It was shocking. It was shocking. The fact that so many people's lives could be obliterated overnight tells you something about the kind of world we are living in. It tells you something about the kind of situation that Israel and America have created in the Middle East, where so much bloodshed can take place without it even making the headlines in Australia. With American politicians talking about the Israeli right to self-defense, we hear words of concern about escalation, by which they mean, of course, anyone standing up and resisting the Israeli death machine. When what we have seen is a massive escalation this week by Israel bombing and murdering almost 1,000 people in Lebanon. And when we hear the measle-mouth, weasel words of the politicians talking about a ceasefire, if this ceasefire was based on any justice for the people of Palestine or Lebanon, that would be one thing. But the ceasefire that is being advanced, the ceasefire that's being advanced by the French and the Americans is not a ceasefire, it's a surrender agreement. They want the Lebanese people to agree to every single one of Israel's demands. They want the Lebanese people to abandon the people of Gaza. They want us to close our eyes and act like nothing is happening in Palestine. And maybe then Israel would agree to a 21-day truce. Does that sound like a good deal? Does that sound like justice? Does that sound like liberation? That's right. And so we stand here in Australia, in Melbourne and Sydney and all around Australia as part of a global movement, demanding not simply pathetic ceasefires on the terms of the Zionists and the imperialists. We stand for justice. We stand for liberation. And we understand that the struggles of one people are connected to the struggles of every people. And freedom for Lebanon and liberation for the people of Lebanon will never come so long as the people of Palestine are living under oppression, under occupation. Free, free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Gaza! Shame, shame, Israel, shame! Out, out, Israel! Israel out of West Bank! Israel out of Gaza! Israel out of Lebanon! Into the Intifada! There is only one solution! Intifada revolution! There is only one solution! Intifada revolution! I want to say something about Benjamin Netanyahu. This war criminal, this absolute pig, went to the UN this week and he said the reason we are bombing Lebanon is because there are missiles in schools, in hospitals, in apartment buildings, and in the private citizens of Lebanon. They put a missile, he said, they put a missile in every kitchen. Let's be clear what this message really represents. Netanyahu is saying that every school, every hospital, every apartment block, and yes, every kitchen in Lebanon is fair game. They are all legitimate targets for the Zionists, according to Benjamin Netanyahu. So we have a chant that we've been using in Palestine, and I think we should use it now. Netanyahu, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. Netanyahu, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. But it's not just Benjamin Netanyahu. It's not even just all of the Israeli politicians who have been cheering on the war on Gaza and now the war on Lebanon. Joe Biden, when he heard the news that 300 people in Lebanon have been massacred in one go, alongside Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah's leader, what did he say? He said, this was a measure of justice. This was a measure of justice. I ask a question. Is it justice that George W. Bush is seeking out his life as an artist while the people of Iraq live in rubble? Is it justice that John Howard is living free in this country while thousands of refugees live in limbo? Is it justice that Tony Blair, who helped to oversee the Iraq war, is now an international consultant for international relations? There is no justice in the eyes of these imperialist pigs, except for the justice that they mete out. In their eyes, we are all trash, to be stepped on, to be disposed of, to be murdered if it suits their interests. But if people fight back against the West, we are labelled terrorists. We are labelled as terrorists, but we know who the true terrorists are. It's Israel and it's America. And let's turn to our government here in Australia, Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese. What did Penny Wong say when the war on Lebanon broke out this week? She said, I really hope they don't turn Lebanon into Gaza. Well, on one level, that's a reasonable sentiment. We all hope that too. But she is not a passive observer. She has been facilitating the destruction of Gaza. Why was it okay to turn Gaza into Gaza? It's not, Penny. We're not going to accept your weasel words. You are complicit in the genocide of the Palestinian people, and we will not accept your pathetic attempt to ride on the backs of Lebanese people and pretend that you give a shit about us. We are all unified. You stand with Lebanon, you stand with Palestine, there's no other way. And the Labour Party does not. They stand with Israel. They stand with Israel, they stand with America. So let's expand our chant. Netanyahu, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. Joe Biden, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. Penny Wong, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. Albanese, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. But comrades, before I introduce our first speaker, I want to say that it is a dark day for the people of the Middle East, and it's a dark day here in Melbourne for more reasons than one. But there are reasons to be cheerful and optimistic and hopeful. The tidal wave of struggle, the global intifada that we are all a part of, is something truly historic. When our first speaker, Yusuf al-Rimawi, was first speaking at the rallies 20 years ago, the rallies were much smaller. They were much more homogenous. It was Arabs and Muslims and socialists, and that was about it. But today, we have a mass movement here in Melbourne and all around the world of people standing up for justice. And that is truly historic. And we can be proud of that. But we have to keep the pressure up until justice is served in Lebanon and in Israel. So our first speaker is Yusuf al-Rimawi. He's a Palestinian writer, a musician, a translator, a radio producer, and refugee advocate. He's the founder of Palestine Remembered, Aspire, the Center for Arab Culture, and Tarif Ensemble. He's an absolute veteran spokesperson and we've collaborated for almost 20 years. Please make him feel very, very welcome.
Free Palestine. In time of genocide, in time where the humanity is facing eradication from different sources, we live in time where there is the threat of a nuclear war. We live in time where there is an impact of financial crisis. We live in time where there is a decline of 6th century empire and the vacuum that will lead and the chaos that will lead. And in times where Palestine has been the fountain of injustice, not just now, not just for 1 year, but it's been like this even before 1948, even before the beginning of the 20th century. Since 1875, the Palestinian people have been under some form of injustice or another. In all this time, people and civilizations resort to storytelling, resort to singing, to dancing, resort to satire, resort to theater. And because I'm a musician, I want to talk to you a little bit about some of our Palestinian songs that reflected the spirit of the national movement for Palestine, that gave us insight to the slogans. And I will start by a song in the World War I. It's called Al-Oaf مش عالقوف مش علاني مالي تبليته هو اللي تبلاني, which reflected the time and pain when Palestinian men were abducted and kidnapped to go and be sent to World War I to fight wars we didn't have anything to do with. The Arab world called it Safar Berlik. And in fact, the Levantine countries lost 30% of its men in that period. The second song is a song that we might have known very well, which is Yamma Mwel al-Hawa, Yamma Mweliya, Darb al-Khanajir wala Hukm al-Nadil Fiyya. I would rather be stabbed by daggers than ruled by villains. I would rather be stabbed by daggers than ruled by villains. And this is the song that accompanied the beginning of the British mandate on Palestine. And in 1930, in what we call Al-Buraq Revolution, Thawrat al-Buraq, where the Palestinians noticed that there is some Judaization of their holy and sacred places of Al-Aqsa compound, and there was a revolution against that. And of course the British mandate crushed this revolution and executed 3 of the iconic leaders of that revolution: Ata Zir, Fuad Hijazi, Muhammad Jamjoom. The Palestinian poet Nuh al-Ibrahim wrote a poem called In the Prison of Akka. من سجن عكا وطلعت جنازي محمد جمجوم وفؤاد حجازي، جازي عليهم يا شعبي جازي المندوب السامي ورفعوا عمومة. This song became the national spirit of the 1930 revolution, Al-Buraq revolution. And in 1934, the Palestinian poet Ibrahim Tawqan wrote a poem that we now know very well. I'm sure you've heard, Mawtini, my homeland. Mawtini was written by this Nablus-based Palestinian poet who was a teacher, Ibrahim Tawqan, to reflect the spirit of independence, my homeland. الجلال والجمال والثناء والبهاء في رباك والحياة والجمال في هواك. Now Mawtini was composed a few years later by Lebanese composers Muhammad and Ahmed Fleifel, and they made it a song that not only became the song of the Palestinian movement in 1936 revolution, but also the song and voice and anthem of Pan-Arabism that swept the Arab world in the 40s and 50s. And Mawtini became the the national anthem of Palestine until the Fidai was endorsed in 1972. And today Mawtini is the national anthem of Iraq. So a poem written by Ibrahim Tufan, composed by Lebanese, chanted by all Arabs, and today is the national anthem of Iraq. And towards the 40s, there was a song by an unknown Palestinian woman who wrote a coded song for her beloved because her and his family did not approve the marriage, so they have to flee, and then they have to force flee not only their society but also the British mandate soldiers. And the song was حيد عن الجيش يا غبيشي حيد عن الجيش يا غبيشي. This is one of the folklore songs. And in 1952, after Palestine was eradicated, after Nakba was made, after the expulsion of 78%, the expulsion of 2/3 of the Palestinian society and the fifth of 78% of the land, the Lebanese singer Fairuz and the Lebanese composer Rahbani brothers gave us a few of what became the iconic songs for Palestine. One of them is called Zahrat al-Mada'in, the flower of all cities, and another one is called أذكر يوما كنت بيافا, and it's called it's dedicated for the city of Yafa, and it talks about the return to Palestine, and many songs for Palestine. In fact, the best songs for Jerusalem was given as a gift from Lebanese singers and composers, and this tells you about the Palestinian-Lebanese solidarity, that we now live. Not only are we united in blood today, we were united in destiny and faith, and united in many ways, not just Palestinians and Lebanese, Palestinians and Syrians, Palestinians and Jordanians and Iraqis and Egyptians and all the Arabs, and now all of the world. I won't talk much more, I won't take more of your time, but I want to tell you about the power of storytelling in time of genocide and the power of poetry, because like an unknown poet said, poetry heals the wounds inflicted by reason. Poetry heals the wounds inflicted by reason. Shukran. Thank you very much.
It's so important that history, it was once absolutely self-evident to every progressive, every leftist in the Middle East that the issue of Palestine was an issue of international liberation. It was touch one, touch all. We could not be free until all of us are free. Unfortunately, in more recent times, nationalism, the kind of sectarian nationalism, has become more dominant. But what's happened in Lebanon this week shows that we are linked. Our futures are linked. There is no possibility for liberation for any one people as long as the region is oppressed by imperialism and capitalism. Every single person in the region, Arab, Muslim, Christian, Jew, atheist, Kurd, Armenians, we are all united, or we should be, in the struggle for justice and liberation for all. And Palestine is at the heart of that, because we know that Israel is the tip of the spear of imperialism in the region. It is set up as a supremacist entity. It is an occupying force. It is a bridgehead into the region for the West. And as long as it survives as a supremacist state that it is, we cannot be free. And that is why we chant, from the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Alright, our next speaker is a Lebanese pro-Palestinian activist. She has been organising these demonstrations alongside the Palestinian community for a long time now. And she is a member of the executive member, I should say, of the Islamic Council of Victoria. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Politics, and she's doing her Masters in International Relations. Please welcome Sara Farahini.
I want to begin by acknowledging the rightful owners of the land which we are all standing on today, the land which we are participating in a way in colonizing the First Nations people of this country. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be.
Aboriginal land!
Always was, always will be.
Aboriginal land!
Just as Palestine always was and always will be Palestinian land. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
And just as Lebanon always was and always will be Lebanese land. At the beginning of the year, I was in South Korea protesting along South Korean activists for Palestine. Outside of the Israeli embassy, there was a banner, and it read, "A strong Israel will bring peace to the Middle East." Take that in for a moment. Take that in for a moment. It actually sounds like a joke. It is a joke.
Yeah.
Because Israel has all the weapons it could ask for. It has an Iron Dome, nuclear weapons, and it continues to commit aggression after aggression. Human rights violation after human rights violation. It is actively committing genocide against the Palestinian people. Israel is strong through its nuclear power and weaponry, and it has brought war and destruction to the Middle East. That is all that a strong Israel can bring to the Middle East. Shame. The Australian government tries to convince us otherwise. The American government tries to convince us otherwise. But we know the truth. The truth has never been clearer. For the last 12 months, we have been calling for the liberation of Palestine. We have been speaking out against the genocide of the Palestinian people. And what has our government done? Nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The international community has allowed Israel to commit human rights violations, has allowed Israel to commit genocide.
Cowards.
And they have empowered Israel to go after the Lebanese people. Shame. They have empowered Israel to continue to commit genocide for the last 76 years. And for the last 12 months, continuously bombarding Palestine. Shame. To what end? To what end? There are 1.9 million Palestinians internally displaced in Palestine right now. And just from the commencement of bombardment on Monday, we have 1 million Lebanese people displaced. What we are seeing right now, is our government's responsibility. They may not have pulled the trigger, but they have been clapping behind Israel this entire time. Shame on them. The lives of our people, the Palestinian people, the Lebanese people, the Syrian people, are very obviously not being given the same weight by the international community. They have very obviously and clearly forgotten that an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. If one of us are not free, then all of us are not free. We have been repeating this for 12 months. 12 months! Albanese, what are you doing?
Shame!
What is the Labour government doing?
Nothing.
What is the international community doing?
Nothing.
Shame!
Shame!
Shame, shame, Australia, shame!
Shame, shame, Australia, shame!
Shame, shame, Australia, shame!
Shame, shame, Australia, shame!
Our lives, the lives of our people, they matter just as much as anybody else's. Just as much as anybody else's. We cannot forget that. We must not let our politicians forget that. The lives of our Sudanese brothers and sisters are just as important as anyone else's. This week, we are starting a month of action for Palestine. A month of action. Make sure that you are heading to APAN's website and keeping up to date with all of the actions that are going to be taking place across the country and participating in calling for liberation of Palestine. On the 14th of October, University Islamic Societies here in Nam are also going to be marking a week of action for Sudan. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. Please head to the University Islamic Society Instagram pages. You can head to the University of Melbourne Instagram page and find all the details to participate and donate in the week of action for Sudan. The world needs us now more than ever. Palestine needs us now more than ever. Lebanon needs us now more than ever. Syria needs us now more than ever. Sudan needs us now more than ever. The world needs us now more than ever. The international community are trying to normalize death and destruction. They are trying to normalize oppression. We must not let them. We must continue to stand for justice every single day of the week for every single oppressed person until all of us are free.
Yeah.
Because none of us are free until we are all free. Continue to show up, continue to turn up. Rain, hail or shine, we show up for Palestine. Rain, hail or shine, we show up for Palestine. Rain, hail or shine,
We show up for Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a
From
crime.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Bombing people is a crime.
Bombing people is a
From
crime.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Stealing land is a crime.
Stealing land is a
From
crime.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
There are so many connections between the people of Lebanon and the people of Palestine. One of the ones you may not know is the Israeli military doctrine, the Dahya doctrine. This is a doctrine which says when fighting war, You should slaughter as many civilians as possible. You should destroy as much civilian infrastructure as possible. You should make life as difficult as possible for innocent people. This was first tested in Lebanon. Zahia is a suburb of Beirut. And so it's gone from Lebanon to Gaza, where they've really perfected it in the last 12 months. And now they're unleashing it back on Lebanon. We should learn the lesson. Our struggles are one. We cannot be divided. The other way in which our struggles are one is that there are many Palestinian refugees in Lebanon, along with Syrian refugees for that matter. People who've been struggling to live in Lebanon for decades under discriminatory policies of the Lebanese government. All the parties of Lebanon, unfortunately, have agreed on treating Palestinian and recently Syrian refugees badly. But now the Lebanese people themselves are refugees once again. We need to learn the lesson. Refugee rights are vital. Standing with all oppressed people is vital. All across Lebanon, people are welcoming refugees from the south and from the Dawahi into their homes. And that is really important. But Israel is now using that as a reason to bomb places that have absolutely nothing to do with Hezbollah. And what they're saying is, if somebody from the south goes to a village, that is therefore a legitimate target. It is disgusting, and so we've already seen villages bombed in other places just for having refugees from the south. This is part of the plan. Lebanon, unfortunately, is a country with many religious divisions, and the politicians in that country have not stood up against this division, and Israel knows it, and they want to use it to stop us standing together and resisting their aggression. So we say no. We stand with the Palestinian people. We stand against all forms of racism. Refugee rights are human rights, and we will stand for each and every refugee in Lebanon and all around the world. Okay. I've got a lot of stands I want to try. One struggle, one fight, Lebanon and Palestine. One struggle, one fight,
Lebanon and Palestine.
one struggle, one fight.
Lebanon and Palestine.
One struggle, one fight.
Lebanon and Palestine.
Alright, before I announce our last speaker, I want to make some announcements about some actions, events and activities coming up. So next week is October 6th, 1 year anniversary of the genocide in Gaza. And this demonstration is not going to be a normal demonstration. This is not going to be something that you can come to maybe if time is right, if the weather's good. No. This has to be a tidal wave of protests for Palestine on the streets of Melbourne. All of us know people who come to 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 of these demonstrations. But maybe they're not here today, maybe they weren't here last week. Next week is the week that everyone has to be there.
Yeah!
October 6th. Chant with me, we'll be here.
We'll be here! We'll be here! We'll be here! We'll be here!
The reason it's so important is that we know that October 7th, the Zionist PR machine will be out in force. They will be trying to pretend like nothing has happened in the last 12 months and that the biggest tragedy of the last 12 months was what happened on October 7th last year and the handful of hostages in Gaza. But we know that's bullshit. This tragedy is a Palestinian tragedy. They are an occupied people for almost 100 years. That is the issue here. Palestine is the issue, and that is what we are going to make clear next Sunday. We all have to be here.
We'll be here!
Okay. the Free Palestine Melbourne marquee. Do not leave this demonstration today without picking up 10, 20, 50, 100 of those. We need you to become organisers, promoters. You're no longer just attendees. Build a movement. Okay, that's October 6th. The next thing, there's lots of things coming up. October 2 in Broadmeadows. There's going to be a demonstration outside the library. Broadmeadows is one of the most Arab and Muslim areas in Australia. We have a Labor representative and a council who've done nothing for Palestine. So we want to highlight that. Please be there on October 2nd, 6:30 at the library. Monday, the 7th of October, there is a Flood the Post action. If you want to find out more about that, look up Flood the Post Oz on Instagram. There's also going to be a vigil on October 7th opposite the Victoria Barracks. You can find that on the Free Palestine Coalition page on Instagram. The other thing is Free Palestine Melbourne, which helps to fund so much of the organising around Melbourne, really needs you guys to donate. It is a political collective that supports all the other organising that happens in Melbourne. Anyone who's tried to put on anything knows you can ask them for support. So please take this, put some money in it, and make sure that our movement can continue to grow, because this is not the ending. Okay, our final speaker for this part of the demonstration before we march is Jorge Jorquera. Jorge he arrived in Australia with his family and he left Chile, his home country, after the fascist coup there by Pinochet. He calls Footscray and Santiago home. He's a lifelong socialist and he's currently a councillor in the city of Maribyrnong for the Victorian Socialists. He was one of the first people to move motions in support of Palestine on those councils. And he is standing for re-election as we speak, so please make him welcome.
First and foremost, I want to thank you all for being here today. It's an inspiration. And I know, as Anna has just said, that you'll all be here next week. Not alone, but with your families, your children, your friends, your neighbours. The depth of suffering of the Palestinian people is directly proportional to the number of voices, movements, people willing to stand with them, willing to stand by them. Every ally that falls back is another victim. Every ally that falls back is another day of war. This is a generation-defining moment. You cannot live through it and stand idly by while tens of thousands of people are executed by a terrorist state. You cannot excuse yourself like the local government councillors who say it's not their business.
Shame.
You cannot, like our state and federal politicians, cry false. You cannot, like our state and federal politicians, cry false tears for victims killed with weapons you supply. Most of you have been here many Sundays. Many for a year. Many of us have avoided, or perhaps simply cannot fathom, the answer to the question that sits at the back of all our minds. When and how will this end? If pushed, we assume, understandably, that when and how will be determined by the assassins and their supporters. The powerful surely do have a great say in how wars and genocides start and end. But they are not the only ones. Episodes are written by the oppressors, but history is written by the oppressed. Right now, in this episode, the people of Palestine need us to play an especially critical role. They are facing the gold star of terrorism. The Israeli state knows that, like big business, terrorism pays, but only when it's done on a grand scale. Impunity is their reward, openly encouraging more of the same. When the terrorist state has raped, tortured, murdered, robbed, without answering to anyone. It's given a green light. It gives a green light. Allowed to continue unchecked. The terrorist state inflames the worst of human emotions, the darkest and the most cowardly thoughts. But against this, we have the most beautiful and the strongest of all emotions. The only one that actually plays a decisive role in making history. Solidarity. Woo! But solidarity is not just an emotion. It starts there with the deepest of empathy. But it's much more. It's an understanding that we stand on common ground. We share the same interests and the same purpose. We will not live in a world that normalizes genocide. A world that makes money out of weapons and wars, that destroys the very air we breathe and the water we drink to make a dollar.
Shame.
Solidarity. This is the only reliable litmus test. When those politicians come knocking on your door, then they will, promising this and that, ask them, will you join me to fight for Palestine? If they do not tremble with indignation at the injustice happening in Gaza, they cannot be relied on in any battle at all. They will dilly, and maybe some will dabble. But in the end, all they will do is make excuses. They won't fight for housing justice. They won't fight for climate action. They won't fight for trade union rights. They'll make up excuses, and the worst of them, they'll just simply resort to lies. When we feel injustice deeply, we act on it. We stand with those suffering. We fight alongside them. We echo and we amplify their voices. That is the meaning of solidarity. People who get involved in politics only come in three different types. Whatever their stature, their quality, their skills, their success, those in politics can only be either clowns, servants, or rebels. The clown, they're like an independent servant, parading around, creating distraction, keeping our attention away from the real causes of our problems. The servant, well, they wear the distinctive uniform of a lackey, ready to serve up supposed reasons and excuses, lies and scapegoats in defence of the rich and powerful. The only person in politics you can trust is the rebel, the one who claims their wages not in flattery or dollars, but in insults from the rich and powerful, the one who will stand next to you in your battles. We cannot answer the question. When will this end? But we know, without our efforts, without our solidarity, without more and many standing next to us, it will not end. We need to stand next to Palestine. I want to end by paraphrasing one of my favourite poets on a hopeful note. I want to end on a hopeful note. I believe the world is beautiful. And that peace like bread is for everyone. And my veins don't end in me, but the unanimous blood of those who struggle for life, for the little things, for landscape and bread. Viva Palestina! Venceremos!
Alright guys, I just want to announce there's something worth hearing. We've just heard news that Israel has invaded Lebanon on the ground. So let's take to the fucking streets. Occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime. Let's go.
Occupation is a crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine. Occupation is a crime. Hands off Lebanon! Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Occupation is a crime!
Lebanon to Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Lebanon to Palestine!
اللهم الله يزلزل الارض امين امين الله يزلزل الارض باسرائيل اللهم يزلزل الارض باسرائيل يا رب انت القادر على كل شيء
Good advice, actually. I don't want to get close, but no, maybe it's right. What's news? Good news.
sino perché non è così, non è
All your school stuff sorted out? All your uni stuff sorted out?
I don't go to uni. I work.
Oh, I thought you were one of the media stuff sorted out.
Oh, no, that's not me. Sorry, Arvin.
go, man. How are you going?
They're whippers. They're whippers. The smaller ones are the whole world. The bigger ones are greyhound. And the little ones are Italian greyhound. Greyhounds are easy.
It's video. Yeah. Thank you. Like, you know.
Oh, nobody knew it. Politics back then.
Making the chance. Like, if I didn't do that, no one would.
Here you go. When school starts up again. Yeah.
So for you at the Broadmeadows campus
Yes.
or college?
Both.
Both. Okay.
And
I'm
you're-
at both too.
Oh,
but
okay.
Broadmeadows might keep me. I'm teaching the high school boys as well. Primary and high school.
Okay.
I used to go to Collingwood on Mondays only.
Yeah, okay, so I'll be Collingwood on Friday.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm on Broadmeadows 4 days, maybe not even 1 day. So I'll see.
Okay.
I'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the other campuses.
Okay, you just refuse to.
No, I've been. It's full time now.
Ah,
so
oh,
yeah, I've got
okay.
a full time position.
Are you okay with that?
Look, I don't want to go full time. Obviously, I'd rather go to the woods. But yeah, I have to.
Okay.
Because I took 3 years off. I
Okay.
travelled.
Give it a go and see how you go.
Yeah, not much of a choice really. I've got 2
okay.
humans that depend on me. So
Okay, so it's out of necessity more than.
yeah, I'd rather not work full time. But
Yeah, I've managed to avoid doing so, but
yeah, well, you're lucky because I lived overseas for so long.
yeah.
And I was in Turkey for like 3 months before that.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm feeling it though because everything's just gotten so expensive.
And like I'm on my own, I've got responsibility for everything.
Yeah.
So it does, it's expensive.
Tell me about it.
You know, too. Yeah. It should be alright. You know, I love the kids there.
You've gotten over you were sick for a couple of weeks.
Well, the flu, that was really bad. I seriously thought I was dying. Because I've had lung issues like when I was 1, my lungs collapsed. And I've had surgery, so it really affects me.
Okay.
When I get sick, I get sick.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I've been well. I just went to Lawrence
That stuff.
that really cold. But I had to. I literally had to.
I thought you got to say that actually fixed you.
No, that like meaning it made me catch a bit of a cold, but it did fix me otherwise. Like I needed that. I needed the salt water. I needed the ocean, and it really because your head is all you know. You can't be really like this. I don't believe anyone who claims that they're okay with what they're witnessing, they're watching.
We went for a walk a couple of days ago down there.
I did that too.
And by the end of the day, I kind of felt light for once. And then as soon as I got home, it was back on again.
Like Lebanese friends, Lebanese neighbours, our students. Like I found out one of my students' dad was just killed. One of their mother's mother, like one of the kids that were sent with the stepmom and 6 children, the stepmom abandoned them and they lived with an 80-year-old grandmother and their mum just got killed. The dad's a doctor, so he's not allowed to leave. I just can't handle it because I look into their eyes every day and you don't want to personalise it, but you know, the kind of picture you are or personalise, you just can't. So yeah, put the phone away. But
One of the tactics that one of the other more experienced kind of activists said is like, I catch up on news for an hour and the rest of the time I work toward
now we're on holidays. I know, especially. I have to do that. Especially with my like, I take it really personally, so I have to get rid of that. And
another kind of development that we didn't really expect.
no, this is another level. Like Lebanon.
Hi, Carolyn. This is Arzu.
Hello, Carolyn. Arzu.
Arzu.
Yes.
So works at Collingwood English Language School.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
So just catching up because I haven't seen Arzu.
Free. Here we go. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Gaza. Hands off Gaza. Hands off Lebanon.
That's why.
Israel out of Lebanon.
Got given run by the government.
Israel out of Syria.
And they're making every single
Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine.
funding was given.
Long live Gaza.
Let me go.
Shame, shame, Israel, shame. Shame, shame, USA. Shame, shame, Labour, shame. Shame, shame, elbow, shame. Shame, shame, Wong, shame. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea.
Catch you.
From the sea to the river. From the sea to the river. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. From the river to the sea. From the sea to the river. From the river to the sea. From the sea to the river.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
See the river, see the sea!
Palestine to the sea!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
See the river, see the sea!
Palestine to the sea!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
You are the Gaza cry!
Thank you, sister. Here you go, one more.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Thank you. It's the kind of movement we need to be continuing to bring in new generations.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
To the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Free, free Palestine! Long live Palestine!
Long live Palestine!
Long live Gaza!
Long live Gaza!
Israel out of Gaza! Israel out of West Bank!
Israel out of West Bank!
Israel out of Lebanon!
Israel out of Lebanon!
Israel out of Syria!
Israel out of Syria!
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Occupation is a crime! From Lebanon to Palestine! Occupation is a crime! From Lebanon to Palestine! Killing children children is a crime. From Lebanon to Palestine. Bombing cities is a crime. From Lebanon to Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Gaza. Shame, shame, Israel, shame. Shame, shame, USA. Shame, shame, Labour, shame. Israel, USA. How many kids did you kill today? Israel, USA. Israel, USA. Israel, USA. Israel, USA. Israel, USA. Israel, USA. Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Gaza. Israel out of Gaza. Israel out of Lebanon. Israel out of Syria. Stop the killing, stop the crime. Israel out of Palestine. Stop the killing, stop the crime. From Lebanon to Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Gaza. Shame, shame, Israel, shame. Shame, shame, USA. Shame, shame, Biden, shame. Shame, shame, Harris, shame. Shame, shame, Labour, shame. Shame, shame, elbow, shame. Free, free Palestine. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
It is absolutely appropriate that our people are occupying the streets today. It is absolutely right to shut this city down. 51 weeks after a genocide has begun, and still our government does nothing. So raise your voices. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
And raise your fists. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Gaza.
Long live Gaza.
Long live the West Bank.
Long live the West Bank.
Israel out of Gaza.
Israel out of Gaza.
Israel out of West Bank.
Israel out of West Bank.
Israel out of Lebanon.
Israel out of Lebanon.
Stop the killing, stop the crime.
Stop the killing, stop the crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Stop the killing, stop the crime.
Stop the killing, stop the crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Killing children is a crime.
Killing children is a crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Bombing cities is a crime.
Bombing cities is a crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
Killing people is a crime.
Killing people is a crime.
From Lebanon to Palestine.
Lebanon to Palestine.
One struggle, one fight. Israel and Palestine. One struggle, one fight. Lebanon and Palestine. One struggle, one fight.
Lebanon and Palestine.
One struggle, one Thank you everyone for sticking through the march. We shut down the city of Melbourne once again. And as long as the war in Gaza continues and this new war on Lebanon begins and continues, we will be out here. I should say before, I said that the invasion of Lebanon had begun. That was a story from ABC American News. It looks like they're preparing for an incursion, but it hasn't quite started yet. But I'm sure it will be coming, knowing the Israeli criminals and their support from the Americans. I didn't get to make one point about George before that I want to go back to before I introduce our next speaker. And that is, the left understands that the creation of Israel itself was an act of aggression. The creation of Israel was an act of colonization. It was a declaration of war on the people of Palestine, but not just them, the entire people of the Middle East. It's always been a principle of the left, of socialists, of revolutionaries in the Middle East and all around the world, that there can be no peace as long as there is an apartheid entity in existence. We would not accept a country only for white people. We would not accept a country only for Muslims or only for other people. And we do not accept a country only for Jews. We support a country for everyone who wants to live together in peace. And it should be called Palestine. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
And George Shakira and myself for that matter, we are from the Victorian Socialists, the only party running in Parliament in Australia that supports a one-state solution. And that is very, very important. Okay, our next speaker is Tazeen Samar. She's been a Palestine advocate and organizer for almost 20 years now. She wants to give some feedback from a Palestinian perspective about the events of this week. Please make her welcome.
Hello everybody. Thank you for showing up. I just want to do an acknowledgement of country. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Always was, always will be.
Aboriginal land.
So as you know, today is a significant day. Today is a day that follows multiple airstrikes on Lebanon, a declaration of war on Lebanon, the assassination of Nasrallah, and before that there was extrajudicial assassinations in Iran. We saw the death, the killing of the Hamas leader as well in Iran, and that follows a year of genocide, a whole year. And yet this weekend, the coming weekend, October 6th, will be marked by the international community as an attack by the Arab people and by the Palestinians, and that is unacceptable. It is our duty to correct the narrative. It's our duty to say the violence did not start on October 7th. The violence did not start on October 7th. We are against regional war. We are against the occupation. And that is what we stand for, to come together against the occupation, against apartheid, against the siege of Gaza. Because a military occupation leads to this level of violence in the region, a level of violence that we reject. We want you to stand with the Palestinian people. We will be doing that right here next weekend, 6th of October. And we will be holding a vigil on the 7th of October for the victims who've been killed in Gaza. The victims, our families who have been killed. 50,000 victims. And they remain nameless to the international community. And we have not been able to mourn. We have not been able to grieve. Because stop dropping. And now, not only is the Zionist state continuing its campaign of annihilation in Gaza, it has expanded that into Lebanon. And the justification used is the same lies, the same imperialist lies, the same Western lies that we heard justify the killing of millions in Iraq and millions in Afghanistan, and we say no more. No more. No more to the racism that allows for the dehumanization of people in our region. To say that it is because of militants hiding in hospitals, both in Lebanon and Gaza, is a blatant lie, and yet it is repeated over and over to justify the mass annihilation of our people. We reject that. Your presence is important, and even if it's us against the whole world, that is what we stand for, and history will write that these are imperialist lies, lies that we see right now, but maybe we don't have that kind of support. Show up October 6th and be at the vigil on October 7th on the Monday. That vigil will be attacked in the media. That vigil is denied. We are denied the right to grieve, but we will grieve 50,000 lives and more. The reports say almost 300,000 have been killed in Gaza. Change!
Thank you so much, Tasneem. October 6th. October 6th. Put it in your diary. Tell all your friends. We need to fill up this entire place like we did when this war began a year ago. No excuses. We need everyone there. Okay, our next speaker is Kathy. She's a Mauritian European settler and feminist and anti-racist activist living in Nam. She's been working with Kanak feminists for many years and is a founding member of Free Kanaki Solidarity. Nam, please make her welcome.
I want to start by acknowledging again that we're speaking on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and recognise that these are stolen lands that were never ceded. And I want to start with a focus on these stolen lands, from which we are waging this struggle in solidarity with Palestine and with Lebanon. And these are stolen lands that we don't think about enough and we don't speak about enough in our movement. Thank you to the organisers for inviting me to speak today. I'm here as a representative of Free Kanaki Solidarity Nam. We're a collective fighting in support of Kanaki, which you might have heard of under the colonial name of New Caledonia. Kanaki is a current French colony in the Pacific. It's about 2.5 hours flight from Sydney. And like the Indigenous people of this land, and like the Indigenous people of Palestine, Kanak people have been resisting French colonial rule since its inception. But in May 2024, a major uprising began. The French occupation of Kanaki began in 1853, and at that point, like in so-called Australia, it was turned into a penal colony and later a settler colony. And tens of thousands of white French people were sent to settle there and to outnumber the Kanak people. Today, Kanaki is France's main military base in the Pacific. And in fact, France has the largest naval force of any country in the Pacific. And France and Australia have a military alliance in this region. Shame! The French state has responded to Kanaki's resistance with extreme repression, sending thousands more military and police forces to the territory. White settlers have organised themselves into armed militias who harass Kanaks on the streets and follow them and shoot at them and sometimes kill them. Hundreds of Kanaks have been killed or injured or are missing, presumed dead. Since May, Kanak activists have been raising the alarm about the risk of genocide in their small population of only 110,000 people. To add to the slow genocide which has been ongoing since 1853 with the destruction of Kanak culture and traditions. Last Tuesday, 24th of September, was the anniversary of France's taking possession of Kanaki, and so it was Kanaki's Invasion Day. In preparation for that day, the government reinstated the state of emergency, including a curfew from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m, and all airports and ports were closed to limit people's movement. And all expressions of Kanak solidarity were banned. Shame! I also want to mention recent events in Martinique, which is another current French colony located in the Caribbean. Over the past week, people have been rising up in protest against massively inflated food prices, up to 40% higher than in the French metropole. And these high prices, which are unaffordable for the majority of Martinique's population, they result from a tax that was imposed on that country in the aftermath of slavery. These struggles in these small island nations in the Pacific and the Caribbean might seem to be far removed from the genocide which Israel is currently perpetrating in Palestine and its recent expansion of aggression into Lebanon. But they are not. Our struggles are connected. France is deeply implicated in the situation in Palestine and Lebanon today. In 1916, British and French diplomats met secretly to divide up what was then the Ottoman Empire into spheres of British and French influence. This was called the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and it assigned Palestine to British control and influence, which later became the British Mandate in Palestine. And Lebanon was assigned to French influence. The parceling up of the Middle East by these European powers has deeply influenced the way the history of this region has played out. And both Britain and France are deeply implicated in it, just as they are in the Pacific. And this history links Palestine and Lebanon with the current struggles of First Nations people in contemporary French colonies like Kanaki, like Martinique, and also right here in this former British colony and now Australian colony. I remember when there was the huge explosion in Beirut's port in 2020, the French President Macron visited Lebanon to produce propaganda film of him offering his support to the Lebanese people with their historic connection to France. And we heard earlier about France's involvement in trying to negotiate a so-called peace treaty between Israel and Lebanon. This is the paternalistic side of colonisation, but we see the violent side of it much more clearly. For example, French companies like Thales and Dassault, who profit from France's militarisation in the Pacific like with Kanaki, and they also produce weapons which are sent to Israel, weapons which have been used to bomb Palestinians in Gaza and now Lebanon. The difficulties that we so often have in seeing these connections between the struggles in so-called Australia, in Kanaki, and in Palestine and Lebanon emerges in part from anti-Indigenous and anti-black racism. But Palestinians are also an Indigenous people, and Israel is a settler colony similar to Australia and similar to New Caledonia. In Israeli rhetoric about Lebanon, we hear them talk about the Hezbollah as fighting between schools and hospitals, and this is how colonizers talk about Indigenous people. Kanak people are standing in solidarity with Palestine. When an Indigenous delegation travelled to Kanaki earlier this year, our Kanak contacts asked the delegation to bring Palestinian flags so they could raise them in their blockades and their resistance camps. First Nations people here in so-called Australia have been offering their continual support and solidarity with the Palestinian cause. So I call on everyone here today to follow their example, to understand our struggles as connected, and to unite in our opposition to colonialism throughout the world, everywhere it exists. We stand with our sisters and brothers in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Martinique, in West Papua, and in Kanaki. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Lebanon!
Free, free Lebanon!
Free, free Kanaki!
Free, free Kanaki!
Always was, always will be!
Aboriginal land!
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kathy. It's so important to be consistent. It's so important to be consistent and principled as a revolutionary. We stand with all people struggling against oppression. From Kanaki to Australia to Palestine to Lebanon, to the revolutions in Syria, Bahrain, everywhere. We stand with the people against the regimes wherever they are. Because oppression in one place is oppression in all places. And there's no room for hypocrisy whatsoever. Okay, our final speaker is a wonderful young activist by the name of Harini. She is a refugee in this country. She arrived here in 2013 as a child, leaving behind her mother and siblings. You can imagine what that must have taken, the courage. And now she is an organizer and a participant in the refugee rights encampment outside the Department of Home Affairs at Docklands. Put your hands up if you've heard about that camp. That's right. Your struggle has made an impact on this movement and on so many other people in this country. Harini's story reflects the struggles that so many refugees face in coming to this country, seeking justice and a better life. And I'm sure there are many people in this crowd who've had similar experiences. So please, give it up for Harini and the whole refugee movement she represents.
Thank you for inviting me to speak at this rally today. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I stand before you today as a voice from the refugee community on bridging visas. For 77 days now, we've been fighting for permanent visa, and for weeks we've gathered here in solidarity with our Palestinian brothers and sisters. In 2009, over 100,000 Tamils were murdered by the Sri Lankan state in a genocide. The same forces behind that atrocity are now enabling the violence against Palestinians and now Lebanese. We cannot sit at home and watch another genocide unfold. That's why so many of the Tamils and refugee community are here to stand with you. Our heart bleeds for the Palestinians enduring this horror. We are not here for your support, but to offer ours. Our fight goes beyond winning permanent visas for the 9,500 refugees trapped in this fast-track process. We also fight for our Palestinian brothers and sisters fleeing Gaza. Under the current Labour government, no refugee, Palestinian or otherwise, will be given permanent protection. I know this pain all too well. I was a young child when I fled the genocide in Sri Lanka in 2009. I arrived in Australia in 2013, leaving my mother and my siblings behind, hoping for a safe future. Instead, the Labour government handed us over to the Liberals, who trapped us in this fast-track process, denying us permanent visas. For more than 12 years, we've been stuck in this nightmare. While some racists in this country label us economic migrants, Labour remains silent as we languish in this limbo. My hope of reuniting with my family feels like a distant dream, as we wait separated from the ones we love. Labour has been in power for more than 2 years now. They know we are the victims of fast-track process. Yet, they pretend it's complicated, but it's not. We have been part of this community for over 12 years now. The Billawilla family was granted permanent visa on the same basis, and Labour could easily do the same for us. All it takes is the minister's signature, but he chooses not to act. When you look at the Labour's response to other issues, it becomes clear. This is what the Labour Party does. They deny Palestinians a safe future, delay meaningful climate action, intervene in Aboriginal communities in harmful ways, suppresses unions, and in the same way deny 9,500 refugees their permanent protection. This government is not for the people. If it were, we would have our visas by now. That's why we know we can't win this fight alone. We need to unite with other struggles, with all the people standing up against this government. That's why we're here today, standing in solidarity with you. Firstly, because it is the right thing to do. As victims of genocide ourselves, we cannot stay silent while our government aids in the genocide of Palestinians. But also because our struggles are intertwined with yours. Together, we are stronger. I also want to let you know that this Friday at 5:30 p.m., the United Workers Union is organising a rally in support of us at 808 Brook Street in Docklands. Please join us. Please come and show your support. We are out there 24/7. In the meantime, we will keep coming out here, day after day, standing in solidarity with you, because that is our strength. Solidarity is what will help us win, no matter what we are fighting for. Thank you.
Come on, guys, make some more noise for Harini. stay!
Let them stay!
There are more than 12,000 people like Harini in Australia on temporary visas every 6 months, having to beg and plead the government to be allowed to stay. This is a crime. How do you organise your life in this way? It is shameful.
Yay!
And now we have Palestinians who've come to Australia seeking asylum, told by Labor to use the tourism visa. And now being told, because they use the tourism visa, they can no longer apply to be refugees. Shame! This is criminal. And on top of that, I'm not sure if people are aware, on October 7th, the government decided last year, October 7th, the government decided that any Australian citizen who happened to be in Israel qualified for a $75,000 terror payment. But if you are Australian in Lebanon or Palestine now, guess what you qualify for? Nothing! Because the murder and bloodshed of Israel, of America, of Australia, in their eyes, that's not terrorism, that's not brutality. As Joe Biden said, that's justice. Well, we know the truth. We know the truth, and we will stand with all refugees, all people coming to Australia looking for asylum, and we will stand with them. We'll continue to fight until everyone has equal rights. Okay, guys? I want to leave you with one very important message. There is a lot of stuff happening in the next week. This is a week of action, and then there's going to be stuff going on beyond that. October 6th, we will all be here for Palestine, for Lebanon, for everyone oppressed by Israel and America, all around the world. So let's end on a chant. We'll be back.
We'll be back! 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 We'll be back!
Thank you very much. And if you want to help, there's more posters to be grabbed from the Free Palestine Melbourne people. Thanks so much, comrades. Have a great Sunday.